Hey, good morning. So today I thought I would do something a little different and talk through the process of one of my wedding paintings. So it's not, I guess you could take it as a tutorial, but it's not a tutorial because all wedding paintings are different. But I guess this is just how I tend to go about a wedding painting, so do with that information as you wish. But this is just kind of to give you an idea of, I don't know, how to start one if you're thinking of getting into wedding paintings. I know it looks very intimidating at first, so this is just to kind of break it down for you. So as I paint this background, I'm going to kind of give you some context as to what I'm doing. So a close family member of mine reached out to me about doing a painting for her nephew's wedding as a gift, and this was a pretty tall order, but I'm excited to do it. She sent me 3 different pictures. She wanted me to combine this pose with this lighting with this background. But honestly, I mean, do it. Why not? That is the great thing about commissioning somebody for a painting, is that you can add, take away anything you want. Because if you already liked that picture, why not just print out the picture? You know, why go through the trouble of just getting a painting of that exact picture? So that's the awesomeness about getting a painting, because you can change whatever you want, depending if the artist is willing or not. As the client, you have that creative freedom to be like, hey, I don't really like this part of the picture, could you take that out? It's not just copying a picture. So it was lots of fun to do, and I got to kind of bring out more colors in it because their wedding was in the fall, so there's kind of lots of dead trees and it's very grayish toned, but they had such a colorful wedding. Their wedding was pink. I mean, come on, it was pink. So of course you have to like bring out those pink and purple tones, especially for fall. I don't know why, but I love purple and fall colors, like with the oranges. I don't know. So as you can see here, I added a little purplish to the sky. You could see it in the picture, but I wanted to bring out those tones some more. So let's get into it. I kind of talked a little too much than expected, but here we are going into the trees. I did my background. Now I drew up my trees with my tiny little paintbrush. I did them all in different shades to show you some depth. The closer ones are also going to be darker. The farther away ones are going to be lighter. I kind of work from background to foreground, so I go by layers. Oh my gosh, the video is going so fast I can't even explain, but here I am taking my tiny paintbrush once again, because we like that precision, you guys. Who needs a feather brush when you can individually draw on each leaf? Again, we are going by layers, so I'm going to start with my lighter colors and work my way up to the darker colors. I have my little grayish purple tone. I'm just going to mark where I want my bushes to go lightly. It's also going to later add some kind of shadowy depth. I don't know. I am not good with my adjectives, but you'll see what I mean when it comes to the finished product. Now the lighting they wanted seemed to be at sunset, so they had a golden hour glow, which is just going to be chef's kiss at the finished product, because just everything is glowing. So here in the trees, to get that glow, I'm marking every other branch slightly darker to give it that ripple lighting effect. Now we are going in slightly darker with our shades of green on top of our purple leaves, and it'll just add a little more dimension, a little more color. Doing the same with the bushes. This video is going really fast and I can't really explain, and this is where you're going to have to trust me. We are marking the undertones of our bushes, so that will be our dark green, of course our dark purple, a little bit of black for the underneath, and our burnt sienna, which is an orangey shade of brown. And we chose this rather than a cooler brown because of course it is golden hour. We are keeping that theme, so we need the sun to seem like it's shining through the bushes. Now after we are done marking where our undertones will go, that is when we are going to start layering on our leaves. I begin with my slightly larger paintbrush for my mid-tone leaves and work my way up to the tiniest paintbrush possible for my highlights. I kind of went back in and did some more darker leaves up top, and then just kind of played around with it. It also just depends on the picture you're going by. Thankfully, I had a picture. I could not be doing this by memory. So at this point, I was just kind of going in, marking where I saw fit that would kind of match best with the picture, but also taking some creative freedom and just kind of doing what looks good. The tiny paintbrush is honestly probably my favorite. I literally use it for everything, and that's probably why the process takes so long. Here I am just kind of painting on the lake, also using the tiny paintbrush. My favorite was this little gate right here. I just love this tiny little detail in the background because all of it is trees and leaves, but then you have this like man-made structure in the background, which I just think it gives it so much character, even if it's just a small in between. I am doing the same thing on the other side using my big paintbrush for those midtones, and then I think at some point I switched to my feather brush because then I get a little tired. There it is. Also, a fun fact, when I was washing this paintbrush, I dropped it down my garbage disposal. So RIP to that paintbrush. It served well. And now we're switching back to the tiny paintbrush. This is my favorite, going in with the orange some more. Is it just me, or is every artist obsessed with burnt sienna? I don't know what it is. I don't even like orange that much in general, but when it comes to paintings, it could be my favorite. Anyway, so you know how we went darker for the ripples on the trees, marking every other branch. So we're doing the same thing, but lighter. It was pictured earlier because I just talk really slow, but we did the same thing with our tiny paintbrush, lighter on the trees, marking those highlights, as we are doing the same with the leaves in our yellow and orange. And you know the drill. Here we are doing the same thing as we did with our bushes, marking those undertones in the most chaotic way possible. I don't know if there's a better way to do this, but this is just how I like to do it. Just blurring together the most random colors, hoping it'll come together in the end. On to the second layer of the ground, we are doing the leaves. There's a whole crap ton of leaves on the ground. So I am marking bigger blotches with my mid-tone colors with my larger paintbrush and kind of smoothing it out slightly. Each layer is going to be slightly more defined than the next. Moving on to our trees on the right side, I am highlighting this one over here with my lighter orange, kind of building up the other one. These were a little more dead on the picture, so I just kind of brought them to life a little bit, kind of getting rid of the small twiggish looking limbs and just kind of made them larger limbs and also slightly darker in color and highlighting them so they have a little more life and not looking so dead. And that's the only way I can put it. And here I am with the next layer going on with my orange because we just love the orange. Marking those highlights, doing some little plant details in between, just kind of going in and tweaking on my highlights at this point. So we got the basics and now we're just kind of going in and brightening up some areas. This was kind of my favorite, just marking different color leaves. I loved adding the purple leaves. It brought me so much joy. There wasn't a lot of purple on the ground, but oh, there I am. Oh my goodness. Hi. Oh, isn't she just so cute? She's fully locked in right now. She is concentrating on that ground. Oh, and we're done. Look at that. She was locked in. I felt like adding a little more brightness to the bush, so I did a lime green wash to go over it. I'm not sure if that's what you would call it. I am self-taught. Disclaimer, I don't really know the technical terms for what I'm doing. I just say things that looks like what I'm doing. So hopefully that's kind of in the correct realm. Maybe, hopefully. Thankfully, this painting was really small, so I didn't have to get super detailed or realistic. This is where you just add fun little blotches to kind of create the illusion of a floral arrangement there. And then I'm going to add more flower petals to the ground because there weren't a lot in the original photo. Oh, frick, my dinner is ready. Okay, we're back. Got my dinner, fixed the beeping noise, but I added more flower petals to keep it magical, light, whimsy, airy, because this isn't any regular picture. This is a painting where everything is absolutely perfect. Does anyone just switch into their customer service voice when they're doing voiceover? Because that's how I feel. I feel like my vocal range is going up and down, where we're talking up here and we're explaining the video, and then I get distracted and go into my chest voice. Okay, so back to the video. This is kind of self-explanatory. I don't really know how to explain it, and that's why this is not a tutorial video and it's a process video, because I'm just kind of blending out their faces and their outfits. Oh, I can explain this. Right here, I think this is more of an oil painting technique. I think it's called color blocking, where you only do the dark spots first, then fill it in with the midtones, and then you go over it with the highlights. I think that's how you do it. I kind of take a similar technique when it comes to acrylic painting, but I don't do it all the time. But I thought for the dress it would be kind of appropriate since they're all lighter colors. You can't really do it when it's colors that are high in contrast, that are really hard to blend together, because acrylic paint dries so fast. But it's easier to do, especially with the paints I use. It's easier to blend lighter colors sorry, in color blocking techniques. The lace was also super fun to do because it's just a bunch of little squiggles that make it look like the lace, kind of like I was doing with the bouquet above them. I also did another wash. This is just me watering down my paint to emphasize the golden hour a little bit more on their outfits. It brings it to life. It makes it look magical. I just love making things a little extra magical. Really, that was pretty much it. Now I'm just kind of doing the finishing touches and signing my name right at the bottom. Look at that little petite tiny signature. It is adorable. I just love my tiny paintbrush. I'm so obsessed with it. Guys, don't forget to sign your painting. It is the cherry on top. So this is the finished product. It is so stinking gorgeous, but I can't take all the credit because the couple is beautiful, the landscape is beautiful, and this wouldn't have happened if they didn't request to Photoshop all 3 pictures together, and I'm so happy they did. But thank y'all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.